So at the time that I'm recording this right now, I'm watching Marvin Vettori taking on Jared Cannonier. Marvin Vettori currently the number three in the 185 division. Cannonier number four in the 185 division. And so far in UFC Vegas 75, the night started out with two lackluster decisions. Right, you had Modestas Bukakis once again with a comeback story from the UFC, two-time former Cage Rage champion, Cage Warriors champion, rather, was released from the UFC, then came back to sign with that organization, won their title for the second time, came in at a short's notice for UFC Perth during the Islam Makhachev Volkanovski card, and in here he is with two straight wins in the UFC so far. And then the night goes on. You had Dan Argarita getting a draw over Ronnie Lawrence, right? One of those situations where they just didn't know what they were going to do with this fight. I mean, one guy was injured, one guy committed a foul, one of those types of situations. And then you had Teresa Bleda taking on Gabriela Fernandez by a decision. And then another decision by Carlos Hernandez taking on Dennis Bondar. And in the end of that fight, it was a great back and forth with the scrambles that they had going on. Significant strikes was on the side of Dennis Bondar. However, by the end of it all, Carlos Hernandez was able to pull off the fight, having the volume and the total strikes landed. So the judges gave him that one, and then the night goes on to Kang Kwang Ho getting a submission over Christian Quinones, and then Alexandro Costa getting a knockout against Jemmy Flick. And in the main card, you had a surprising win over Nicholas Dalby taking on Muslim Salikov, being able to utilize his takedowns by the end of the fight to be able to get the nod in that decision. Manuel Torres gets a first round TKO knockout against Nicholas Mota, and then Pat Sabatini gets a submission win over Lucas Almeida. And then in this surprising one, the former Cage Warriors 185 champion Christian Leroy Duncan coming out very unorthodox with the way that he was coming out attacking, the way that he was going forth in his unorthodox style, or his constant movements and these constant circus-like tricks that he was trying to do, basically trying to Prince Nassim Armin Petrosian, right? A lot more unconventional than before, almost in the same way as what you would call, let's say, Michael Venom Page's style or Prince Nassim's style. Whereas in his prior fights, especially in his Cage Warrior fights, you've seen him fight very methodical, very flat-footed. Not so much tonight, but it wasn't enough considering Armin Petrosian had one takedown in the entire fight that perhaps maybe had won him the entire fight. And of course, in his significant strikes, he was just a lot more accurate, 57% in his significant strike percentage. Total strikes percentage, he had a lot more total strikes, 111 shots he was able to get in comparison to Christian Leroy Duncan with 73 out of 136. So as we moved on in the fight, you had Armin Sorokian with Joaquin Silva having a little bit of a trouble in the beginning, whereas with Armin Sorokian was able to utilize his takedowns after he got rocked and showed that even if he was to get hurt in fights, he still has that takedown that's very dangerous in terms of being able to take you down and neutralize you if needed. And he showed that tonight. And then he goes and calls out Islam Makhachev. Now, as you guys know, he's got quite of a history with Islam Makhachev because he debuted coming into the UFC when the UFC did UFC St. Petersburg back in 2019. So he gave Islam Makhachev some of the toughest fight of his life, probably a lot more tougher than Charles Oliveira ever gave Islam Makhachev his fight. So he gets a TKO finish in the third and final round at the mount position, where he was getting rocked in the beginning. And of course, it was a back and forth fight. It was a little bit of a tougher fight for Armin to experience as usual and more than is expected. But the 4 takedowns out of the 5 really won him the fight. 69% on his significant strikes, 80 out of 115, very accurate, 76% in his total strikes, 134 he threw out of 175, very accurate in comparison to Joaquin Silva, not so much, 77 out of 96, 56% out of his significant strikes, and wasn't able to land any takedowns, which ultimately is what really won Arman Tsarukyan the fight, maybe even by decision if he was to take it there, but he was able to persevere and finish the fight after having such a tough outing. And now, right now, we're watching the, well, it's not live at the moment, but I'm watching this as it's being recorded, of Marvin Vettori taking on Jared Cannonier. So right now, it is the third round versus Jared Cannonier and Marvin Vettori. We have about 2 minutes and 47 minutes left if you guys want to follow this from this particular point on. So far, just like in the co-main event with Arman Tsarukyan and Silva, there was a lot of back and forth in ways that they were rocking each other, just hurting each other and all that. So here comes Jared Cannonier now cornering Marvin Vettori into the cage, and then he's hitting him with some dirty boxing uppercuts with 2:20 left into the third round. And then here comes Jared Cannonier shooting for a double leg takedown, but then instead gets to the side. And now he's just continuing to scramble away. Jared's trying to pin him down towards the cage. Now Vettori's face is completely battered at this point at 156 of the third round. And now they're just in a clinch position right now. Marvin Vettori got him in a wizard, gets off, then they break away. And Jared Cannonier stalks him down and corners him right into the cage as Marvin Vettori is trying to defend himself right now. And it goes for an uppercut, misses, gets into a clinch position. So far into this fight, 156 significant strikes have been landed by Jared Cannonier as we're watching this main event right now into the third round. So if this fight doesn't get finished in this third round right here, we're going to go into the championship rounds of this fight. So far it's been a really good night of fights. Really a stacked card. Oh, here comes Marvin Vettori right now taking Jared Cannonier down, and then gets his back at the current moment. So now Vettori got him back up against the cage. Here we go. And then they get back into the center of the cage as they break away. Now they separate. Now they're back into the center, just throwing shots at each other, jabs. Good straight left, good jab from Cannonier. Cannonier's just beating him to the jab at this point at the 30-second mark left of the third round as I'm watching this at the current moment of time. And then here comes Jared Cannonier with some hooks that he's throwing. 42 significant strikes into this third round right now in comparison to Vettori with 22. Now we have approximately 10 seconds left into this fight right now. Vettori goes for a leg kick. Good right hook from Vettori. Inside leg kick. There it is. Okay. End of the third round. So far, I believe that Jared Cannonier might be winning this entire fight. Now, how did I score this? I wasn't scoring this fight at all, to be quite honest with you. I was just watching the fight as it was going on. And now we're going to head into the championship rounds, and let's see what happens. So if you guys are following up to this point right now of the 9-minute mark of this video, you are about to go into the fourth round of Marvin Vettori versus Jared Cannonier. So out of the significant strikes into this entire fight right now, yeah, it seems that Jared Cannonier is landing a lot more. Interesting take on Marvin Vettori. He's standing while he's in his corner, and then Jared Cannonier is sitting down. They're both getting iced up. It's always interesting to see what are the different contrasting aspects of what is the right thing to do if, let's say, one camp decides to have their fighter sit as opposed to one stand. I suppose standing gives some certain familiarity, meaning that if you're sparring in a gym, you're probably standing up anyway. So here we go, round 4 into the championship rounds of Marvin Vettori versus Jared Cannonier. top 185ers of the world right now. Okay, inside leg kick, jab from Vettori. Yeah, it looks like Marvin Vettori's picking up his momentum at the moment, not necessarily within the fight itself, but just within his spirit and morale as this fight is going on right now. 425 of the fourth round, another jab by Jared Cannonier. The way that I see this fight right now, it's probably going to go into the distance. Once this fight goes into the distance, I'm going to react to the winner of this fight, and then I'm going to cut the video after that, because I pretty much just went over the entire card, and then that's going to be the breakdown for this particular card. It's yeah, I mean, this isn't much of a companion. Obviously, this is more like me reacting to the video right now, pre-recorded, because I don't know why I didn't go live with this, but I figured I wanted to use the camera that I have for my iPad rather than the camera for my MacBook that I record the show in. But here we go. High head kick by Marvin Vettori. Low kick by Jared Cannonier. 3:30 left of the fourth round of the main event for UFC Vegas 75 in June 17, 2023 of today. June 17, 2023. So here we go. Jab by Jared Cannonier. So far, what we've noticed out of Marvin Vettori. Oh, here goes a double leg takedown by Jared Cannonier, being able to take down Marvin Vettori. So what I've gathered from this fight so far is obviously Jared Cannonier is more of the technical fighter, and Marvin Vettori is more of a fighter that is, well, a lot more of a brawler type, a lot more of a risk taker. And I think I mentioned this when I was doing the podcast show a couple of weeks ago about the upcoming matches that are happening right now in boxing and MMA. So here comes Jared Cannonier cornering Marvin Vettori, and then they head back into the center of the cage right now as they're jabbing away at each other at 2:25 left. Low kick by Jared Cannonier. Hook missed by Marvin Vettori, goes for uppercut, misses. A front uppercut. It's always interesting when somebody goes for a front uppercut rather than a back uppercut, right? Because usually most uppercuts come from the back. They would use the jab as to kind of set it up and then go for the uppercut right off top. Now 2 minutes left, knee attempt by Marvin Vettori. So the thing with Marvin Vettori, I notice is, unlike what you've seen with Christian Duncan Leroy earlier in the night, not a lot of flashy moves in the way that he fights. Obviously, that may have been a little bit detrimental to somebody like Izzy, who was a lot more of an elusive target, which he was able to capitalize on in the stylistic differences in that. But it seems to work for a lot of fighters, right? A lot of the fighters that he faces, the straight jabs, the straight crosses, just the simple leg kicks, and then just he throws a lot of knees, spams a lot of knees like one of these calf players in UFC 4 video game, right? He throws a lot of knees just out of nowhere, but it works, right? These simple shots that they do. And sometimes that's just what it works. Right now, what's working is the inside leg kicks of Jared Cannonier as we are heading into 1 minute left of the fourth round. So far, 195 significant strikes and 105 strikes by Marvin Vettori. Good cardio display for Jared Cannonier at the current moment. And then here goes a clinch up against the cage right now. Marvin Vettori has a wizard underhook in Jared Cannonier as Jared Cannonier is pushing Marvin Vettori up against the fence. Marvin Vettori breaks away with 35 seconds left into the fourth round. We are going into the fifth and final round, so we are either going to go into the distance in that, or we're going to react to a possible devastating finish or submission. And then Cannonier is still swinging with reckless abandon power, with absolutely no reservations about it. The guy's cardio is absolutely insane. And one can argue that him being a former heavyweight, I think really helped out a lot in him coming into becoming a middleweight. Being able to be as fast as he is and then having the type of elusive speed that Jared Cannonier is capable of, especially at his age. So now here we go. Fifth and final round coming up. Now they're both in their corners right now. Like what I was mentioning earlier, Marvin Vettori is still standing up, and the approach by Jared Cannonier's camp, he's sitting down. I always wonder what is the difference between that. Is it the way that your breathing diaphragms differ from sitting down as opposed to standing up? If you guys know, please drop some comments below and click and subscribe. So here we are. We're about to go into the fifth and final round, as they're just finishing up their corner job right now in the 1 minute mark that they have for in between the rounds. Here we go, fifth and final round. So if you are listening to this for the fifth and final round, the fifth and final round should be right on the 16-minute mark of this video, and then you can react from there. So here we go. 16-minute point, 5-minute mark, and here we go. Herb Dean signals it. 255, 455, 453, 452. Marvin Vettori opens up with a body kick attempt, jab, right down the center of the cage as they're meeting up right now. The stance switch and the side-to-side movement is really important in this fight right now, if you guys are watching. And here we go. They both swing away at each other. 4:25 of the fifth and final round. Body kick, or front kick rather, by Marvin Vettori. They're talking to each other right now as the fight is going on. I wonder what they're saying to each other. They'll probably reveal in the press conference, or maybe in the post-fight. Here we go, straight jab by Cannonier. Jab from Vettori. I mean, right now, Jared Cannonier is showing triathlon level cardio at the moment. And the only chance that I believe Marvin Vettori has is just being able to, oh wow, yeah, he gets a good right hand on Jared Cannonier, but he's still standing. Here we go. 335, 334 of the fifth and final round. 333, they clinch each other, they break away. Now 325 of the fifth round. Yeah, Jared Cannonier is still looking fresh. He's moving side to side on him. Oh, he gets a good cross right into the face of Marvin Vettori. Here we go. They clinch each other up again. Yeah, that's one thing a lot of people don't take into consideration is the amount of lactic acid that you're giving up when you are clinching with somebody. It's a different type of fitness that you got to have that you just can't get out of running or swimming. Now, they do help, but being able to grind all those hours in the gym is what really will make the difference in the fight, especially when your adrenaline is pumping and you're in this stressful situation. And in the case of Marvin Vettori right now with his face cut up open, and here goes Jared Cannonier walking him down into the center of the cage with 2:30 left into the fifth and final round of Marvin Vettori versus Jared Cannonier. Marvin Vettori goes for a body kick, gets it, but Cannonier's is moving forward on him. 210, 209 left onto the fifth and final round. Yeah, so this fight is definitely going to go into a decision, and more than likely this is going to go in the favor of Jared Cannonier. Yeah, man, at 40 years of age, almost at 40 years, or maybe already at 40 years, Jared Cannonier showing the best cardio of his career at the current moment of time. That right there is absolutely amazing. Oh, and then he goes, and it goes side to side, or Marvin Vettori hits him with a cross. Now he's got Marvin Vettori rocked right into the fence. Then he goes and shoots for a double leg takedown, gets him down. Definitely. And then here, yeah, that definitely won him that round. I was going to say now he's going for a ground and pound, elbows him. Now he's in his guard. He's into the guard of Marvin Vettori right now at the current moment. Now 115 left, 113, 112, 111 of the fifth and final round. Yeah, so at the current moment of time, with just about under a minute left into the fifth and final round, Cannonier is just ground and pounding away at Marvin Vettori into his guard right now. And the only chance that Marvin Vettori has right now is to go for a guillotine or to basically stand up and get out of this position and then try to get a knockout on the feet, which is not happening. Now he gets up on his feet right now. They're grinding each other onto the fence right now. They both break away, but Cannonier still has Marvin Vettori cornered, throwing punches at him. And another right hand by Cannonier. 19 seconds left into the fifth and final round. Another takedown by Jared Cannonier. Marvin Vettori ducks right in and then goes right in and shoots for a double leg takedown and gets it. Now they're back up and Marvin Vettori is pushing Jared Cannonier into the fence. There it is. That's the fifth and final round. That's the entire fight right there. So now we're going to react to the winner of this fight. More than likely, this is going to be Jared Cannonier, one of the best 5-round performances of his life. You know, that fight that he had with Izzy was a bit lackluster, but of course, the way that Izzy controlled that fight, he was able to nullify a lot of the hard shots that Jared Cannonier would have offered towards him. So that's why the fight looked like the way that it did. With the type of opponent Marvin Vettori is, more than likely, Jared Cannonier was going to give him this type of fight, showcase him being able to make these shots and then hit him over and over again, and then showing him the type of stamina that he has while he's doing it. So, very amazing fight by Jared Cannonier. We're just going to wait and react to the decision right now, while they're probably all on the commercials right now on ESPN or BT Sports or wherever you were watching this. But yeah, that's what I've seen in the fight so far. A really amazing fight. Great job by Jared Cannonier. A great job by Armen Petrosyan, by the way, getting that decision against Christian Leroy Duncan, because you know what? He had a lot of hype going into that fight. And of course, a great showing by Silva. Of course, Arman Tsarukyan, one of the top 155ers in the world, came out and showed what he's able to do and was tested by a veteran like Silva. With a guy that has that many fights, of course, he's going to give you that type of problems. Great night of fights. Now we're back from the commercial. We're going to react to the winner, and that'll be it. There will be really nothing after that, and then that'll be the end of the video of this entire analysis. And then make sure to watch my McGregor allegation scandal in the objective truth video right on this channel. And please don't forget to click and subscribe as you're watching this. And thank you very much for your support. Now here we are with a decision for Vettori versus Jared Cannonier. 48-46. Jared Cannonier gets the win tonight.
Yeah, true. Fudge, bro, that was hard to watch. At least Marvin's still under 30. Hopefully he can bounce back in his next fight. Yeah, but he just looked so bad. Vettori pulling perfect to my face is a punching bag. God, if Cannonier wins, we riot. Cannonier scores Hamzat. Nah, he probably get dominated.
Most significant strikes landed in middleweight history. How about that?
Thank you for the $5. Cannonier looked pretty scary. That
How about
second
that? Great
round
job
better
on
than he ever looked in general.
Jared
I know at
Cannonier being
41.
able to
It's almost
get
like
that
he's just
kind of
found a
record
different way of
for
doing sit-ups.
the middleweight division out of all things, right? Great record.
Most significant
And
strikes in middleweight
great notch on the
history.
belt of
That's
Jared
42.
Cannonier. And great night of fights. Once again, these are one of those fight nights that doesn't seem like really the significant one in your calendar of combat sports observing that you're doing in the upcoming months. But guess what? A lot of these cards are straight sleepers, aren't they?
Just how good
And
is Sean Strickland?
that's it for this card. Click and subscribe.